Just last week, the Minister of Transport has announced the 11 companies who is going to be part of the open access. And for us as Grindrod, we're quite excited about it because we're one of those companies. We're looking forward in terms of how we can play a role in terms of entering the railway landscape in terms of the railway network within South Africa. At Grindrod, our focus is about people and communities and the difference that we can make as a group. We are a logistics group as Grindrod, and one of the biggest focus areas for us in the future is of course the rail development. We have been focusing a lot within Southern Africa with other Southern African countries, but now the opportunity is there for South Africa. We've been waiting for this for a very long time. So we have been doing some business in South Africa, but of course limited to only certain areas of business, but not the main line in terms of rail transportation. And what we bring to the table is really the efficiency, improving the efficiency. We want to see also as a long-term effect that there is a reduction in terms of doing business through the reduced transportation costs. Our focus is also a lot in terms of moving bulk commodities, and of course that's talking to the mines. Mines need to get their product to the export market at the cheapest price, at the quickest time, and that's where we can play a role in terms of our business as being a logistics company. We know that there is limited funding available in terms of state funding. With this you can see with all the railways within Southern Africa and even beyond. So we believe with the private sector entering, it allows for more access to capital, bringing capital to the forth to support the development of rail, of course on the infrastructure side as well as the operation side. And we believe with us coming in and also other entrants that we would be able to add value in terms of the transport and logistics landscape, and thereby also provide better service to our customers. In terms of our planning and being a group focusing on diverse logistics, we believe there's always a room for partnerships with our clients, partnerships with other suppliers, and we've been doing our business and developing our business that for years. And within the rail space, we also believe that it's quite capital intensive, so it's a lot of investment that is required. And some of these investments, of course, would also be at bigger risk. So it would be advisable to also look at strategic partnerships in terms of growing this business, looking at different routes. In terms of our starting point, we will only start at a low scale in terms of rail operations within South Africa. And then as the market, as the opportunity grow, and as we are becoming more confident with the rail operations within South Africa, we will then see how do we invest more, how do we create better partnerships, and then also how do we find a better way to get the product to the market by rail. As Grindrod, we have been also involved in a concession in Zimbabwe for many years where we're operating. We know there is a definite need for the railways to open and provide access to the private sector to operate within the different countries. Many of the countries already within Southern Africa do provide that, but they're not at the level in terms of the legislation that South Africa has prepared itself to. So we do have, for example, access in Zimbabwe with a partnership that we have with Zimbabwe Railways. We also have a partnership with Zambia Railways, and we believe that the others are starting also to open and to see the opportunity. So the policy change is really that in order for the railways to develop and to grow, they need to have more funding. And this funding can only come to a large extent from the private sector, who's also willing to provide that funding and then matching that with the operations and logistics. And that's how we will grow the sector and also allow a bigger shift in terms of road to rail.